What if Anakin Skywalker never turned to the dark side? Today we dive into the alternate timeline where Anakin Skywalker chose a different path, not as Darth Vader, but as a Jedi who saved the galaxy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Jedi Junkyard. My name is Kyle, and today we're asking ourselves a question. What if Anakin Skywalker stayed a Jedi? To understand this alternate history, we have to go back to Anakin's downfall. His visions of losing Padme, his visions of seeing her die, his deep mistrust in the Jedi Council, and his manipulation by Darth Sidious. In the original timeline, Anakin turns on Mace Windu, saving Palpatine and condemning the Jedi Order. What if in that moment he stood by Windu and together they struck down the Sith Lord? Now, if we look at this directly, either Sidious would have been captured or killed, and eventually Order 66 would have never taken place. And of course, he wouldn't have taken control of the clone army, and they would have been loyal to the Jedi, and the Jedi would survive. And instead of becoming Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker is hailed a hero, finally embracing his destiny as the chosen one who destroys the Sith. Now let's talk about the children. Luke and Leia. Padme gives birth safely, with Anakin by her side. Luke and Leia grow up knowing their parents, raised not in secret, but in the light of the Republic. With Anakin still a Jedi, he trains his children from a young age. Imagine Luke and Leia growing up as Jedi prodigies, learning from both their father and masters like Yoda and Obi-Wan. The Skywalker family doesn't fall apart. It becomes the strongest Jedi lineage the galaxy has ever seen. Now this is really something, because if you look at Luke and Leia's trajectory, they were separated at birth. So maybe they form a bond where they really do become that duo in the galaxy that is feared by everyone. And I say feared because the Jedi were feared by the criminals in the galaxy. They would have learned from their father and their best masters in the galaxy. Now let's take a look at the Empire and how that would look like. Without Palpatine, there is no Empire. No Death Star, no rebellion. Instead, the Republic continues stronger than ever, with the Jedi serving as peacemakers once again. But here's the interesting part. Would the galaxy ever really be at peace? The dark side never disappears forever. Even if Sidious falls, another Sith or dark side cult could rise in his place. The question becomes, with Anakin, Luke, and Leia all leading the Jedi Order, would the galaxy finally achieve balance or simply delay another war? And in my opinion, I think someone else would come along and try to live up to Darth Sidious. And the way Disney's doing things, it would be very soon. I think a lot of us in episode 9 were a little disappointed that they brought Palpatine back. It almost like we could have had some fresh start for a new villain, but I guess it was a conclusion to the Skywalker saga. Needless to say, I think a lot of us weren't big fans of episode 9, so it's easy for me to say. In many ways, the timeline might be a true fulfillment of the prophecy. The Chosen One destroys the Sith without falling. The Jedi Order survives. The Skywalkers guide the galaxy into a new era of peace. But it's also possible that without the trials of the Empire and the Rebellion, the galaxy never learns the hard lessons it needed. After all, the Force is always seeking balance, and history shows us that balance often comes through conflict. And it's true, so like, what would the Jedi mantra be? You know, they need the conflict for peace. If there was just peace all the time, I don't think there's a galaxy that actually is that. If we even look in our own lives, there's never not a war or something going on. There has always been conflict in the world. And I think for us in the US, you know, after 9/11, you know, I was just born, but even seeing videos of people coming together after a conflict, it's a really crazy and powerful thing. So what do you think? If Anakin never turned, would the galaxy truly live in peace? Or would the dark side rise again in another form? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this what if story, make sure you leave a like and subscribe on this video. We post weekly Star Wars and Marvel's content, so make sure you stick around. I will talk to you guys next time, and I hope you guys grab something on the way out. Peace.